Bill Gates, ladies and gentlemen, is if you don't know, he got to be the richest man in the world by helping people.
Yeah,
that's how you get to be. How do you get to be a billionaire? As I say, you get to be a billionaire by helping people.
A lot of the man's attacked a lot for being a good man, and he's going to pay out of his own pocket to darken the sun for us.
The many faces of Bill Gates, a popular conspiracy. Oh wait, should we just play it? I say we just play it, right? Here we go.
Given billions for vaccines and save millions of lives. If you just kind of invert that and say, no, we're trying to make money for vaccines and not trying to save lives, that's a popular conspiracy theory.
Wait a minute. The fact that Bill Gates is trying to make money is a conspiracy theory now? Capitalism is a conspiracy theory now, Kurt? Did you know this?
Billionaires make their money, make a lot of money, and they're really into it.
So the richest man in the world, it's a conspiracy theory that he's into making money.
Will you hear his specific words, though? He goes that I'm doing it just to make money and not to help people.
Oh, so he is doing it to make money, not just to make money.
Yeah, he said it in a way, in some wormy ass way, to where it's like, I mean, I'm sure it's still a lie, even technically not a lie. I'm sure.
So okay, now listen to what he says. So he just said he's not doing this to make money off vaccines. This is all about because he cares about people. Okay, ready?
$10 billion in vaccinations over the last 2 decades.
He invested $10 billion in vaccinations over the last 2 decades. How much did you make?
And you figured out the return on investment for that. And it kind of stunned me. Can you walk us through the math?
It's over a 20-to-1 return. So if you just look at the economic benefits, that's a pretty strong number compared to anything else.
Compared to anything else. His investment in vaccines, the richest man in the world, said it's done better than any other investment he's ever made. 20-to-1 return.
He didn't just do it for that, Joe. You didn't listen to what he said. The conspiracy is that he just did it for that. And not because he's a good man who used to hang out with Epstein.
Yes. Like all decent people do. Here we go.
We're trying to make money for vaccines, and that's a popular conspiracy theory.
Over a 20-to-1 return.
Given.
Is that all the conspiracies about you, Bill? Just the thing about vaccine?
Is it just that? Is that the only?
Nobody brings up other conspiracies at all that you could think of off the top of your head.
Will you conspiracy crazies leave this poor man alone? Hasn't he been through enough? He lost his close friend Jeffrey Epstein to suicide.
And you don't have to deal with that pain, Jimmy.
And you're still going to do this? So Bill Gates is evil, okay? And if you hear what Bobby Kennedy tells you about his vaccine programs in Africa, they're not good. And he doesn't care.
And for the record, taking off his glasses don't help.
Doesn't help. Put your glasses back on.
Please put them back on. Put them back on, please.
Oh, my God. You know who else is like that, I want to say?
Imagine that coming at you on Epstein Island. Oh, my God.
My ex-friend, host of... boy. Anyway, so Bill Gates... Again, I'm going to show you that he's an evil predator, because he is. Bill Gates chooses corporate patent rights over human lives. When did he do that? He did that during the pandemic, because they didn't send the vaccines to poor countries. And in order to do that, you have to let the patent, you don't enforce the patent laws. And the people who hold the patents release their patents so you can go make vaccines wherever your country is so you can save people. Well, they wouldn't let them do that. Some people say it's because they never thought the virus was that deadly in the first place and they knew this was a scam. I don't think that.
No, I think it's just better to have the free market distribute it and not these people, just anybody willy-nilly.
That's right. Free market. So the global battle over drug company patents for COVID-19 vaccines is the latest skirmish in the irrepressible conflict between property rights and human rights.
Oh, that's silly. Humans are property.
That's right. It's no surprise that Bill Gates, the monopolist billionaire, has taken the side of patents over human rights. Another conspiracy is this. Let's look what this conspiracy is. Bill Gates convinced Oxford University to renege on its original promise of a no-patent vaccine and partner with a... So remember that? Do you remember when Oxford University had their vaccine and Bill Gates stopped them from giving it away for free and he made them go with AstraZeneca instead? Argue because he didn't want people to start getting the idea that you could just start giving vaccines away for free and stuff, man. Come on, baby. That's about, come on. He invested $55 billion in that vaccine, and he's looking for a 20-to-1 return. Go ahead. What'd you want to say?
Yeah, well, also, if they just gave out the secret formula of how to make vaccine, people might start studying it, doing tests on it, release information without the black bars on it.
Yeah. So arguably, more than any other single figure, this billionaire, Bill Gates, has mobilized his immense personal wealth and power to ensure that the interests of for-profit drug companies prevail over global public health. And you want to see what else? So here's a lady going to ask him, hey, what about that? You know, this is during the pandemic. Hey, shouldn't we let those patents fall off so poor countries could just produce their own vaccines? Get rid of the patents. Watch what he says.
In terms of that, there's been some speculation that the changing intellectual property rules and allowing these vaccines, as you say, the recipe for these vaccines to be shared would be helpful. And do you think that would be helpful?
So if we...
How could it be?
How could that be helpful? So watch what so the question is, if we shared this recipe for these vaccines with poor countries around the world, and they wouldn't have to rely on rich countries to ship it to them and give it to them, wouldn't that be better? So this is what he says.
No.
No. You want to see that again? Because I do.
There's been some speculation that the changing intellectual property rules and allowing these vaccines, as you say, the recipe for these vaccines to be shared would be helpful. And do you think that would be helpful?
No.
Why not?
Well, there's only so many vaccine factories in the world, and people are very serious about the safety of vaccines.
Yeah, people are super serious.
Okay, well, I don't understand.
That's why we got this new one that we developed in 3 months with a technology that's never successfully been used before. And we're super serious.
But is he saying, like, because people are super serious, you know, like here in America where we are super serious.
not like these, the Mongols.
He's saying the poor countries are like, oh, guys, I don't know if it'll be safe. We just shouldn't have the life-saving vaccine.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what he's saying.
And so moving something that had never been done, moving a vaccine from, say, a J&J factory into a factory in India.
J&J?
That, it's novel. It's only because of our grants and our expertise that can happen at all.
J&J, the one that got recalled.
That's right.
Okay.
It's only because of our our money and these are scum of the earth poor people we're talking about. They're like animals. They're barely apes.
Do you want these people to have the same quality vaccine as their drinking water and food supply?
The thing that's holding things back in this case is not intellectual property. There's not like some idle.
Oh, really?
It's not at all.
Really? Said why not
you say something?
Said why not get rid of them then? Why not get rid of it? No, you're not going to get rid of it if it doesn't matter. If that's how it's holding back, why am I going?
Vaccine factory with regulatory approval that makes magically safe vaccines.
I'm sorry, what?
You've got to do the.
So he's pretending that if poor countries like India tried to make a vaccine, that they'd wreck it. And
you mean they'll rush it and they just give it out like it's magically safe?
Yes.
Boy, that's a shame. That happened.
Yes, here we go.
Factory with regulatory approval that makes magically safe vaccines. You've got to do the trials on these things, and every manufacturing process has to be looked at in a very careful way.
Unlike what we do here, we rush things to market. We try to hide Pfizer wanted to hide their vaccine trial data for 75 years. Who is this guy bullshitting? I know who he's bullshitting. He's bullshitting my ex-roommate and everybody else who votes Democrat.
Jimmy,
that's who he's bullshitting.
Some of these countries, they have corrupt regulation.
So this guy,
some of them do not have great regulations.
So he's saying there was no manufacturing capacity, that you couldn't do this. Poor countries just can't open up a factory. Well, that's a lie, what he's saying. Plenty of manufacturing capacity currently stands ready to produce vaccines if given the necessary authorization. A single relatively small Canadian company, as Barani discovered, says it's capable of producing 20 million vaccine doses for people in the global south, but has been rebuffed by both AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson. When is this article from? Oh, shit, we don't have the date on it. Son of a bitch.
It's the beginning of the pandemic. I remember this story.
Yeah, okay. So he's lying. So Bill Gates is lying once again. And he's lying about vaccines, and he's lying about money, and he's lying about motivation and conflicts of interests, and he's lying about corruption. And those are things that Bill Gates made a living on. He made a living on stealing other people's ideas, making them his own, monopolizing those things, putting other people out of business, crushing people. And now he's monopolized the vaccines. And as he's trying to also, he's the biggest single landowner, a farm owner in America, of farmland. What's that about? Oh, that's right. He's going to make you eat bugs.
Wait a minute, Jimmy. Are you saying his plan to dim the very sun might have ulterior motives? He's going to shoot an umbrella. Have you seen what they're talking about doing?
No, I haven't heard this. Are you? What's
that
this?
article is April 2021, Jackpun.
All right. So this was.
Wait, you don't know what the plan to fight climate change?
No.
Yeah, it's real. You know, to simulate how a volcano puts particles
You're
in the
kidding.
sky? No. I know. It sounds like I made it up. You Google it. Give it a Google.
So here's Bill speaking at Australia's Lowry Institute as part of a talk entitled Preparing for Global Challenges in conversation with Bill Gates. And here he makes an admission. As soon as he cashed in his money that he invested in the vaccine, he started saying the vaccine didn't work well. Immediately after he cashed it in. Let's watch what he says about this great vaccine.
We also need to fix the three problems with vaccines. The current vaccines are not infection blocking. They're not broad, so when new variants come up, you lose protection. And they have very short duration.
So screw those. But guess what? He's got a new thing. He already cashed in his money from those vaccines. So now he's got a new vaccine. What is it?
We think we can also have, very early in an epidemic, a thing you can inhale that will mean that you can't be infected, a blocker, an inhaled blocker.
An inhaled blocker. And who's making that? Oh, these people in India. That's the place he said they couldn't do anything, remember? He said they can't make their own vaccine. They can only... Oh, and who's funding it? Bill Gates is funding it. So the new inhaling thing you sniff, that he's funding that now. So he left the old vaccines because he cashed in his stock. And now he's onto this new thing. And the old thing that he cashed his stock in, it's not good. He doesn't like it anymore. It's got a lot of problems. This new thing's better. What? And is he invested in the new thing? You're fucking right he's invested in the new thing. New Delhi, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation will fund 2 Indian firms to develop and sell vaccines for pneumonia and diarrhea that kills thousands of children every year. Wow.
Boy, I was not given that shot as a child.
That's the company. India launches its first nasal COVID vaccine.
Oh,
that's the company.
That's what India is really called, is Bharat. That's its actual name. We just call it India.
Now, this was an interesting case test of people's trust in their politicians or their health system. And, statistically, we didn't do as well as I would have expected. In fact, I'm cited as some, mastermind of some evil plot in many, many cases.
Yeah, Bill, why is it that you're at the center of all these evil plots? Why are you at the center of vaccination worldwide? You're not a doctor. You never even graduated college. You're not a virologist. Why are we listening to you about vaccines? Oh, that's right, because you're at the center of every story, because you've monopolized the vaccine production, And you've also paid off with hundreds of millions of dollars media companies that then report on your vaccines positively and report on you positively for developing vaccines. So everyone thinks you're a good guy instead of the richest, most evil, maniacal monopolist that the world has ever seen. Because that's what you are. And just for kicks, Bill Gates wants you to stop driving your car and eat bugs. He owns 2 Gulfstream jets. Each one of them emits more carbon in a single flight than your car does in your entire lifetime. That's who Bill Gates is. But there's people who think he's like Mr. Rogers. My old roommate thinks Bill Gates is like Mr. Rogers.
How old is your old roommate?
56.
He should be old enough to remember who Bill Gates is.
They go, Jimmy, he's a guy he wants to help people with vaccines. He's trying to bring vaccines to poor countries. That's what they say.
Did you see the Sun thing I texted you? It's a real story.
No, did you text it to me?
Yeah. You think that's for good reasons? To stop climate change.
A Bill Gates venture aims to spray dust into the atmosphere to block the sun. What could go wrong?
That's something Mr. Burns did in The Simpsons.
You're kidding
He's going
me.
full Burns.
We got to cover this.
You didn't know about this?
No.
Yeah, but you know how volcanoes are lower. Sometimes a volcano will erupt and then there's widespread famine.
Come see our live shows. We're going to be in Chicago, Rosemont, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, New York City, Pottstown, Pennsylvania, Stamford, Toronto, Toledo, Detroit, St. Louis, and more. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for those tickets.